And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to the Alaska Weather Show. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Friday, June 30th, 2023. And we've reached a milestone, an end of an era. The important change notice I've been speaking of, the Alaska Weather Show, at least in the traditional sense that this has been coming to the people of Alaska since 1977. This is the last TV broadcast out over the airwaves of this show. And starting tomorrow, Saturday, July 1st, the National Weather Service will be providing a modified web-based version of the program that you can receive over a new YouTube channel. And in making that change, we will be moving from Alaska Public Media over to National Weather Service YouTube channel at NWS Alaska. So go ahead and subscribe to that channel and you'll be able to receive similar content to what you have been able to in the past. More importantly, I just want people to take a moment and consider the impacts of this change. A public comment period remains open through July 30th, and we are very interested to learn what are your current sources of weather information? I'm just going to step back and read this. What are some of the current sources of weather information and climate information do you use, say, for marine weather, aviation weather, public general weather? What additional weather information would you like that you are not currently able to get, have not been able to receive? How do you receive this weather information? What do you use? What service? What device? Do you use a cell phone, a computer, a ham radio? Do you get a signal over the airways and receive it by traditional television? And in areas we've had, because we live in such a large state and there are many rural areas that don't have the infrastructure for the communications, what suggestions do you have to reduce some of these coverage gaps so we can better serve the rural communities? And the impact, what is the impact of replacing this traditional TV broadcast with the web-based version? So if you can provide some feedback along these lines about also anything, if you have a fond memory of the show in years past, please send your comments to nws.service-change-comments at NOAA.gov. And you have through July 30th to do this. So I hope if this show has really meant something to you over the years, please let us know. And if you have any other questions, suggestions, concerns, you can reach Carrie.Haisley at NOAA.gov and Donald.Moore at NOAA.gov. And I do want to take a moment just to thank our partners at Alaska Public Media for their production support over the years, especially Sean and Sherry. I also want to thank my team members for all of their help in making this show possible each day. And again, especially you, the viewer. So please send your comments in so your voice is heard. Looking at, for additional weather information, you can always go online to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's official online presence. And looking at the map of the continental U.S. this Friday afternoon, look at all these gray areas in the northeast and Great Lakes. That's because there are air quality alerts due to very, very poor air quality from all of the smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Further south, we have excessive heat warnings and advisories for the middle, lower Mississippi Valley and much of the south. Air temperatures will be up around 100 degrees with feels like temperatures of 110 to 115. Severe thunderstorm watch, eastern Colorado, northwest Kansas. Back to the west, we have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings, southern California into southwest Arizona. So the heat is on there, especially in the southern U.S. Here in Alaska, we are going to finally get some warmer temperatures in areas this weekend. It's going to be seasonably warm and not excessively warm. Some showers and thunderstorms producing some heavier downpours across the northeastern Brooks Range over the past couple of days could cause some higher water levels on rivers and creeks in that area on the north side of the Brooks Range. So keep that in mind. Gale force low pressure system in front will impact the eastern Aleutians up to Alaska Peninsula and up around just south of Kodiak Island as we go into the earlier weekend. But the good news is for South Central, including the Anchorage Bowl, warmer and drier weekend weather is on the way, some of the best weather we've seen in a couple of weeks. And overall, we are looking for some warmer temperatures in the extended forecast over the northeastern mainland and down along the Alcan border into the Panhandle in the 6 to 10 day outlook here as we creep into the early part of July. Looking at some of the FAA webcams this Friday afternoon, Ambler has been kind of stuck under lower clouds in areas of mainly light rain. Cool temperatures, only 50 degrees. It'll be warming up if you can get some sun here over the weekend, but there could be some scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms pop up with that warming. Anchorage, notice the breaks in the cloud cover of the mountains, Chugach Mountains having some cumulus buildups, but much better weather on the way for South Central for Saturday and Sunday will be drier and warmer. Some areas will be getting up around and maybe even a little above 70. So the special weather statement is for this area of the Brooks Range, the north side. There could be some rapidly rising creeks and rivers from rainfall from scattered showers and thunderstorms that dump some heavier rainfall. And so that'll be the case here, at least going into tonight, early weekend. Otherwise, we don't have any other significant advisories across the state. Fire weather danger here. Fire danger is relatively low. If we take a recall back to last 4th of July weekend, it was really, really warm and dry and fires all over the place. This year, we're very fortunate. The fire danger is very low across the interior of the mainland, and it should stay so here through the holiday weekend. Nevertheless, with the warmer weather this weekend, we're going to see some drying, even though there will be some scattered showers and isolated storms around areas of the interior that could dampen fuels. That's not always enough. Despite the rain, it's the fine fuels there that can ignite. So be very, very careful with any fireworks and campfires. And overall, low to moderate fire activity is expected as we go through July. And for Canada, is having just an unprecedented fire season this year. For more information, if you search CWFIS to get official wildland fire data and forecast for Canada, that's where you want to go to get that particular information. Satellite imagery, well, we have low pressure here in the Gulf still providing areas of southern panhandle of showers, Haida Gwaii, and then here's the other low back here toward the North Pacific that's going to ride northeastward and weaken, but as it does so, it's still going to provide some gale force winds along areas of the Alaska Peninsula. And up to the north, we have some lower cloud cover and fog along the Arctic coast down along the Chukchi Sea coastline as well. And the interior, we should start to see a little more sun breakout in south central areas for Saturday. And the area of thicker clouds and rain will begin to dissipate over the western interior, as I mentioned earlier, around Ambler and those areas. That will tend to break up here as we go through the weekend. So on the weather map this afternoon, the systems are not especially strong. We would expect that for this time of year. Low pressure down the North Pacific, that'll be one of the main features that works its way northeastward. And then the low that's currently in the Gulf will continue to weaken as well. We do have a weak cold front back here in eastern Russia that'll press a little further east and kind of wash out as we go through the weekend. But here is that low later tonight, early on Saturday morning. That's the main weather feature. It does have some moderate rain around it. And as we go into Saturday, the low center stays just south of the eastern Aleutians, but along this frontal boundary, there could be some bands of moderate rain and some gustier gale force winds. A weaker ridge of high pressure tries to build back up into the northern Gulf, and then a few scattered showers and isolated storms expected across areas of the interior. And on Sunday, that low just stays south of the Alaska Peninsula with the occluded front weakening, but some moderate to locally heavier rains on the east side of Kodiak Island and there in areas of the Alaska Range across from Shelikof Strait. Weak high pressure ridge up here through the north and into the interior, so temperatures are going to be warming a bit on Sunday. Lows overnight Saturday morning, upper 40s to around 50 degrees many areas, but Saturday afternoon we could get back up in the 60s Anchorage Bowl, even 70 Talkeetna. Still cooler in the Panhandle, the clouds still breaking up, a few lingering sprinkles or very light showers. Sunday, temperatures in the 40s, few 50-degree readings in the Panhandle. Same thing here, South Central, but then with the offshore developing, a little drier conditions setting up here on Sunday for the Panhandle. Temperatures may be a few degrees cooler here across South Central because of increasing cloud cover. Across the interior and north, readings around 50 along the Yukon River. generally above freezing even along the northwest Arctic coast, 70s along the Yukon River north of the Alaska Range. Some readings 50-ish or so there along the Arctic coast. And then on Sunday morning, lows generally in the 50s along the Yukon River. And it's possible a few spots could hit or just get up into the low 80s here, Yukon Flats on over toward the Alcan border at, say, Eagle, and even back toward the north and west, 55 or so there as you get up down toward Cape Lisburne or Wainwright, those areas there. It won't be quite as cold. And out across the southwest, lows 40s to near 50. Could see a 70-degree reading, try and sneak in with some sun Saturday afternoon around Bethel. And then on Sunday morning, we expect lows 40s across the Aleutians, lower 50s, Kuskokwim and Yukon River valleys, and then back up into the 60s there for the southwest interior. Temperature-wise, we are going to see warmer temperatures early July set up across the northeast, mainland, and down in through the Panhandle. Below normal still the southwest, same story there. And maybe a little above normal precipitation across the northwest mainland and southwest, but below normal temperatures or precip in the Panhandle.